Okay, today we're going to demonstrate how to tape an IV catheter. Placing and prepping for the catheter placement is kind of the easy part. Taping it in is a little bit harder. So we have here just some plain white tape, non-waterproof, of course. You do not want waterproof tape. We're going to estimate an appropriate length, which is sometimes tricky to do, based on the circumference of our patient's limb. So we're going to pull a big full strip of white tape, and we're going to rip it. And we are then going to take this and rip it in half long ways. So now we have two skinny pieces. And anytime we're working with tape in the veterinary medical setting, you always tab your ends. So you can see the tabs are on the ends on both sides. So I did that with one of my long skinny pieces. It's tabbed and ready to go. And my other long skinny piece, I'm going to rip it in half. And I'm only going to need about half of it for my third piece. And then we are going to take another full length piece of tape. So again, back to our tape roll. And we're going to pull it off, tab the ends, and just make a little tab fold over. Okay, and then we are going to make a little notch, and because I want to do this right-handed for you guys, we're going to make our notch on the right side of our tape, just a little V notch, okay, just a little V notch. And that's going to be my second piece of tape. So as I have it right now, I have my long skinny piece for my first piece of tape, my big fat notched piece for my second piece of tape, and then I have my half skinny piece for my third piece of tape. So we have our catheter placement ready to go. We've got our patient's leg here. This guy's just holding it for me. And we're going to pretend that we have shaved this leg. We've done our chlorohex, alcohol, chlorohex, alcohol, chlorohex, alcohol. Now we're ready to go. So we have our catheter here that we're going to place in our fake leg. And I do not flush my catheters, but you do have to flush any type of line that you're using. So this is a flushed extension line, but my unflashed catheter. Now with the catheter, you can see here, he has a little cap on the end that you can remove. If you do remove that, you want to keep it as clean as you can, and it's not wanting to come off for me, so we'll just leave it on there today. You can see the catheter is this plastic part, and the stylet is the metal sharp piece that you can see sticking out the end there. Okay, so just like with any injection, we're going to go bevel up into our patient's vein. Again, placing the catheter is the easy part. I say that, and of course, it's not wanting to go in the fake leg. Okay, so our catheter is in place, and now we need to tape it in. So we remove the stylet, and we will cap it. Oh, of course, he's not wanting to cap. Leave that in clean. We'll cap it with this, maybe not. Okay, so we're just going to forget that and just go to taping, okay? So our first piece of tape, again, is the long skinny. We want it sticky side up, okay? So we're going to take this and come right underneath our catheter, and we are going to fold it over on itself and then back over again, okay? So that keeps the catheter secured to the limb in that very first piece of tape. Well, it's also important that while you're doing this, that you do not tape over the actual hub of the catheter. Now, again, normally there would be a cap or something else on here, or your fluid line. But for today's demonstration, we're just showing without. You always make sure that that little ridge on your catheter is left clean and open. You do not want to tape over that, okay? So this is securely taped in, but we want to continue to add our other pieces of tape to make absolutely sure it is going to stay in place. So second piece of tape, again, is our big fat guy with the notch, okay? He's gonna go sticky side down. Remember with the first one, we did sticky side up. Second piece goes sticky side down. And that B is gonna notch all the way up under the hub of our catheter, okay? Because again, we do not want to tape over that hub piece, okay? So I'll show you this. Again, our second piece makes it stay in place even more securely, okay? And then lastly, or if you didn't already, you'll have your cap or your line. So we'll have our extension line that we will just attach here. You screw that on with the lower lock, okay? And then you have your last skinny piece of tape that you can use to secure that line. Now these are very long extension lines. Not always will you see that, but generally what I'll do is about halfway or so, I'll tape it to itself, the piece of tape it to itself. And then you can kind of loop it around the patient's leg like so, okay? And then that is what you would add to the fluid line so that he would have IV fluids delivered. So again, just a quick little recap. We want to do skinny piece, fat piece, skinny piece, okay? And let's just tear some tape just for fun again. So pull your tape. First piece is going to be long and skinny, so we'll rip him in half. Remember to tab your tape. And then your second piece that you will apply to your patient is going to be just the long, full-size piece of tape that you tab, but then you also notch, okay? And that notch is where you sneak it right up underneath that catheter, okay? And that is how you tape in an IV catheter, at least here on